Hey, we're back, Chubby.
We're back. Hey.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
And we have got a special one, boys. Cheers.
Cheers.
This is a special one.
Boy, I've been looking forward to this one.
Yes.
Been looking forward to
Yes, Hogue, you've been on the list for a while.
Yeah.
I've been on a lot of lists.
All right, boys.
This is a good one, man. This is a good list.
What's your first take here? Now, this is brought to us by our good friend, Mr. Chad Grow.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's start off with quality pour from Mr. Grow. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Chad.
This is
Blanton's
Gold.
Yeah.
Out of, I believe, either Switzerland or France. Or
I couldn't tell you, man. I have a hard enough time finding one that's domestic.
Well, listen here. That Grow, he's got... I mean, well, I'll put it this way: it's under surveillance.
Well, I have seen pictures of it from our esteemed colleague and friend Brian Morris.
Yes,
and I mean, it is a true example. I put that in one of the top 5 collections I've ever seen, and that includes like on the internet. Like,
this was by far the best collection I've seen in person.
Oh my! I mean, it's unbelievable. I've never seen it in person, but
climate controlled.
Pictures of it. Oh yeah, I mean, he's taking it seriously.
It's
not something he started yesterday.
It's climate controlled. Yeah. It's under lock and surveillance. It's he's got fingerprint combination to get in. I mean, and that's just where the good stuff is. And like the stuff that I would call good stuff is all through the rest of the the bar area, and then he's got another room that is the high dollar stuff. And I mean, he's for real about it. I mean, he's for real.
The man has made an investment.
And he also gave me a Cuban.
Oh, well, that's pretty nice of the man.
Yeah.
Yes, gives you a thing of Blanton's Gold and a Cuban. My goodness.
Yeah. Now that was at the party.
Mr. Grow is living right.
As soon as I got there, I said, "It's official. You guys are richest friends I got." I got some rich friends.
Yeah, man. Gee whiz.
That may be a little bit of Julie though.
Could be.
I mean, Grow is in public education, so this is Blanton's Gold. What's your thoughts, Hogue?
It's delicious. I love it.
I love it.
Yeah, pretty good stuff, man. I thought it was, I'm just gonna say it. Grow, go ahead and make fun of me. I thought it was a bit hot and neat.
It is. Well, it's neat.
Put it on the rocks, and I mean, tremendous.
You splash that with some water, and that's smooth.
Oh my God! Well, see, and that's the way I like my whiskey. I'm weird on that.
Me too.
But like at least on even like the rocks, I just think it definitely changed the flavor to my liking.
Are you a guy like you like bourbon, right?
Mm-hmm. I love bourbon. Yeah.
So, what's your go-to bourbon?
Just Makers.
Hey, I like Makers. Yeah. So, are you a neat? Are you on the rocks?
On the rocks.
On the rocks. You like splash?
Nah, just on the rocks. I like it when it melts. Just let the ice melt, and then it gets a little watered down.
Yeah. So, I mean, whenever you're drinking a high dollar whiskey like this, do you think that you need to do it neat?
No.
No.
I like rocks.
Yeah. That's kind of the way I am too. I like it how I like it.
Well, and I mean, I think I've heard a lot of guys say that, like, hey, man, the best way to drink your whiskey is the way you like it.
Yeah.
So, like if you always drink your bourbon on the rocks with a splash, then you should really try every bourbon that you go to the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, if I don't put it on the rocks, I'm going to be like, whoo, man, that's hot,
No kidding.
Yeah, because I'm used to drinking it on the rocks. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Mr. Grow. Cheers to you,
man,
sir.
Cheers. You just made it for a great show.
Yes, thank you. Well, Mr. Hogue, tell us about, I want to know, I mean, let's get it out of the way. Let's talk about what is it like to be on the road with Jimmy Buffett?
Well, we weren't actually on the road.
Okay, tell me what you were with Jimmy Buffett.
I was playing with this band. Her name is Nadine LaFond, and we had a gig down in St. Bart's.
Okay.
So that's where Jimmy lives.
All right.
And the place that we play at, they have a rotating, like every 3 weeks they have a new band.
Yeah.
And so we were the band, and they hook us up. We have a band house right there on the harbor, and then we play at this. It's actually a sushi bar, and we play there 6 days a week. And we played there. It was March 2012, and it went great. We met Jimmy because the band house and Jimmy's actual residence is about a block away.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so
I mean, are you guys passing each other strolling dogs?
Well, I mean, we didn't have dogs with us. we had to fly, but But yeah, so we that went well. We met Jimmy, and he would just come. Honestly, he would come down and just want to sing backup. He would just like, hey, he just wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
And then that went well, and they invited us back for.
He's still wanting to get out and do it like that. He's still wanting to just come down and.
Yeah.
After all these years,
like when he's just at home relaxing.
Home.
Yeah.
I mean, he's exactly. I mean, I think he's one of the richest musicians. He's worth $300 million. He franchised himself with the Margaritaville, and
but I'm saying like he's still strolling down on a Tuesday night, being like, "Hey, you boys want to jam?"
Yeah, that's what he likes, and that's what I've
noticed
cool. about
really
a lot
cool.
of people who get to that level of fame. So much of their interaction is fanboys. Just people coming up to them and just being like, "Oh, huge fan, Bill. I love you, and they want real. They just want real.
Yeah. So I'd say that real band vibe, like like the starting out, like not starting out, but the hey, let's sit around and jam.
Yeah,
I'd say he loved that.
Well, we eventually became friends and did a lot more of that. So they invited us back for the holiday season, which is their busiest season. So we were there from like mid-December through I think the mid-January. So like through New Year's and Christmas.
Yeah.
And every New Year's, Jimmy comes down and plays a set. So he always goes to these parties. I think the time when I was down there, I think the Red Hot Chili Peppers were playing the party. So there's we're talking the 1% of the world.
A-list.
So I can't remember all the drummer that I was with was always pointing out celebrities. He's like, hey, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so. I wasn't paying attention, I wasn't, but he was always pointing out who was there. Yeah. But so when Jimmy leaves after midnight on New Year's, when he leaves where all the major people are, he comes down and plays a set at a sushi bar. It's not that big, it's just right on the harbor. It's a sushi bar. And so we knew this, and we're like, hey, we met him in March. So we're like, Jimmy, if we're going to do this, let's rehearse. And he got really excited. He's like, really? You want to be like, he's never had a band. Every year he does a set on New Year's, and this year it was us. And so we're like, yeah, come over tomorrow. So he walks the one block down to to our house, and we rehearse, and it went great. And then they invited us back for next year for the same time. And so this time when we get back, we're just, we really, he loves just to come down. He would just come down. The drummer and the guitar player got into these daily chess matches. He'd come down and just mess up the chessboard, and just goof with us.
Yeah. Is his personality like that? That is like his known persona. Is it pretty real?
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly who he is. Is just let's just get out in the water, and have a good time.
Let's party, and
really.
Yeah.
So he basically made fame out of just what he was.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's exactly who he is, and he,
lives in St. Bart.
Just and so that whole flip flop thing. That's real.
Yeah. Well, the Cheeseburger in Paradise is on St. Bart's, so there's a cheeseburger place in St. Bart's. That's the Cheeseburger in Paradise that he's referencing.
Yeah.
So that's where he actually calls home. He travels everywhere. Yeah. So the next year, we play with him again, but now he knows us and likes us, and just comes down like on a random Monday, because we're playing 6 nights a week, and he'll just come and sing backup. He's like, hey, you want to just do this? But my favorite story of him is the second New Year's. He comes knocking on the door. Door's locked. Bum, 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 bum. We're like, hey. and he's all nervous. He goes, we have to learn what you were. I saw her standing there in Hey Jude. And I'm like, okay, let's learn them right now. And he goes, yeah, I want to learn these just in case Paul wants to sit in. And so Paul McCartney is also on the island. He has a house there. And so we're doing our set, and Paul did show up. I played for Paul McCartney. We played for Paul McCartney, but he didn't come and play. But Jimmy was he would just in case Paul did want to come up and play. Yeah. It was that day. He's like, we got to have some songs ready.
You saw Paul McCartney right there.
Yeah.
On stage.
Not on. Well, I was on stage. He was in the audience.
He was in the audience.
So actually, like your experience with
the
Buffett,
biggest.
you're playing like private parties and small venue kind of stuff.
Well, this was at a sushi bar in St. Bart, so it's right on the harbor. It's small. It's about the size of this place. Okay. I mean, it's tiny, but it's on the harbor, so it's open. So people could kind of, the crowd kind of went out a little bit. Yeah. Wow. But yeah, they packed, a lot of people.
What's it like whenever a guy like Paul McCartney hits a crowd?
I don't know. I have always been I've never been starstruck, and it's worked to my I think it's good. I've had more experiences because I don't tend to get starstruck, because if I do want to have like a meaningful story about Paul McCartney, it's going to happen naturally. Like I don't try to force anything, So, no, I hopefully I play the same whether I'm playing for 2 people or I'm playing for 10,000 people, and that's probably one thing to my detriment is I tend to. I go in when I play. Some people can go out, like lead singers, or they project their personality and like they're really engaged with the crowd. I tend to go in. The comment I get is, you need to smile more or whatever. I'm like, I'm just concentrating. I'm having a great time. I'm having a great time.
You're grooving.
Yeah.
Hey, Chubbies, how many points do you have on the McDonald's app? We all know and love the McDonald's app. And we want to thank Brad and Sarah Munn for being a great sponsor of our show and of our communities here in Jackson, Oak Hill, Wellston, and MacArthur. McDonald's. Check them out.
Is that what you? I've been in bands. Are you grooving inside your head? Is that what? Are you just kind of in your head? Because bass is a little. That's what you play, right? Mm-hmm. And bass is a little bit different because you kind of got to get off to the side.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that like literally, but like you kind of got to, that lead singer's cool and all, but that ain't really where you need to be. Well, you know what I'm saying?
We are the offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are, you know what I mean? We do our job, it couldn't happen without us, but no one knows our name.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and
you like that though. Like you say, you go internally. Like,
yeah.
Is that Jason Hogue at his best when you're on stage performing?
No, I try not to define myself by that, by the music. Hopefully, like I teach now, and so I always teach. First be a good person, and then be a good musician. Because it doesn't matter how good you are if people don't want to hang out with you. That's what I tell them. I was like, if there's 4 drummers you could call for a gig, for a tour, and they're all good, you're going to pick the one who's cool, that you would want to hang out with in a van for 8 hours a day.
Right.
100%.
100%. Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, you kind of have to get it's you and the drummer basically. Mm-hmm. In a band situation, it's going to be you're going to be thumping with that drummer, right? Mm-hmm. You and the kick is going to try to sync up. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't even know that. You probably didn't know that.
No.
The bass and the kick.
I've always heard that like the bass guitar and the drums are like the fundamentals of a band.
They're carrying your timing and your beat. Are you trying to like groove inside that, or are you using the whole structure of the band? Like, because I know a lot of guys, they'll be like, "Hey, turn everybody else off, just me and him."
Oh no, every song is different. Depends on hopefully what I'm doing is just giving the song what it needs, and I'm happy. You know what I mean? And there is a bass player stereotype. Look at any rockumentary. Spinal Tap. Any rockumentary, that thing you do, that movie, and all the bass players in all those movies, while the guitar player and the singer are fighting, the bass player's like, I'm cool.
Yeah. I just thought everybody. I just want to play.
Are you saying the stereotype is real?
Is real.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
That guy from the Eagles, Timothy, whatever his name was, that long-haired guy. He was that way with Glenn and Don. Whenever they were all into it with Henley, or not Henley. What was the other guitar player name?
Walsh. Joe Walsh.
No, not Joe Walsh. The guy that did the Hotel California. Oh gosh. Oh, that's. I see his face just plain as day.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Not Don Henley, not Glenn Fry, not Joe Walsh. The other one.
Oh my God, we're gonna get blasted.
We're gonna get blasted.
And
but not important. But the bass player in that, that they had stole from I forget the band, but he was the calm one. They always are. They always are.
Right. And it bleeds in because it bleeds into your personality because that's what you're doing all day. You know, you're the foundation. You know, you're not doing anything fancy. Well, you may, but like it's not needed. And it just kind of bleeds into your personality. Like, no, people are hiring me because I'm doing what they're asking me to do.
Yeah.
You know, you know, and people ask me, what kind of music do you like to play? And I'm like, I want to play the type of music that the people want to hear. I don't want to play jazz for people that want to hear country, and I don't want to play country for people that want to hear jazz.
Yeah.
If I'm making people happy, I feel like I have a purpose. You know, and you know, there's people that get too much into being an artist and being creative. That, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to separate that from the vocation of being a musician.
Okay. Yeah.
And
so, like, have you played all different genres of music then for
a lot,
different types
You've
of
done
bands?
it all.
And, okay.
You've done it all.
Yeah,
But
so,
I mean, like this time with Buffett though, man, like, and he was just like a down to earth guy, like coming over there kind of giddy, like, hey man, let's practice this, or
I actually think he really enjoyed it just because we were real. We were down the street. It was like, you know, asking if we could come out and play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. And he's at home hanging out. He probably thought it was great.
Yeah. And it's not.
There's not 30,000 people there screaming, going crazy.
Well, if he's got 4 months at home, you know, he probably does get bored.
Right.
You know, he doesn't want to pick up a hobby because he just got to walk away from it.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
You got to wonder how long that guy will tour, though, man. I mean, he's he's in his 70s now, right?
He's got to be.
Yeah. I mean, that's unbelievable.
I don't know how, and I mean, I'm like you, okay. I spend a lot of time on the weekends, you know, Thursday through Saturday, just, you know, gigging, and you did it more than that. You know, you were doing 6 day a week stuff, and I don't know how those guys. I can't do it anymore. You know, there's no way I could go out there and do that weekend grind. And I think of those guys that are doing it at age 70. Now, I ain't worth $300 million. You know, so that's a little bit different. But at a certain point, I don't think money even matters. You know, I've just always thought, man, how could you sing Margaritaville? You know, how could you do that?
Think how many times he's done it. Man.
But think how much money it's made.
Oh, my God.
He don't seem to care. I mean, he doesn't seem to mind still singing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but think of how that crowd, think of how he feeds whenever, I mean, you've been there. How is that crowd whenever he goes into Margaritaville? How is that?
They're obsessed. And so it's a French island, and the French, they like, I don't understand. The Americans love the Jimmy Buffet. But the Americans, the Americans are going nuts.
Well, he's got his own like fan club, like I mean, like legit Parrot Heads. Yeah,
I mean, you know, the thing is, I mean, the things that guy has built from, like, if you listen to his music in the 70s, it's the same. It's just all of a sudden all these fans just, you know, came on board. Yeah, and he just kept doing it. And everything he puts out goes straight to #1 because all of the fans go out and buy it. And
yeah, is he still putting out new music?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he put out one last year. Like, I was like down at the Ooh La La or something like that. I mean, I don't follow much of his new stuff. I mean, I went through a phase where I was really into him and went to see him every year and all that.
Okay.
I've kind of gotten away from that.
Huh. Yeah, there's people that whatever he would put out, there's a million or so of those out there out of the 100 million that are going to buy it.
Yeah.
Oh, no question.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen him unless I saw him at Jamboree in the Hills, but I never did get bit by the Buffett bug.
Yeah, I probably saw him. Man, I probably saw him 10 times.
Now, I've played Margaritaville 1,000 times.
Oh,
you know, I mean, it's just what you do. And I like
cool.
Pirate After 40.
I mean, I think it would be cool if you're him, okay, and you break into Margaritaville or Pirate Looks at 40, and the whole crowd's singing that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, well, I wrote that song. You know, I mean, that would be pretty.
Well, like Donnelly said, whenever Donnelly had that, I don't know if you listened to it, we had Nick Donnelly on the show, and he wrote Unapologetically Country, which is, you know, it was banger here in recent country music. And he's Mr. Donnelly's son.
Okay.
Yep. And he said whenever he saw a whole stadium full of people sing that song, or an arena full of people singing that song, he said there's nothing stopped that in his life. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, that's just I can't imagine. But
I just remember Pat Riley was right behind me singing Margaritaville when they were singing that. Just look behind me. I'm just like, That's Pat Riley singing his,
Wow.
at the top of his lungs.
Oh my goodness, man! I mean,
are these people coming in with entourages? Like,
it's ridiculous. The drummer, he was always the whole time. He's like, okay, there's so and so. I'm just kind of
vibing.
Again, I don't want to be distracted because
you can't.
yeah.
And then he'd give me all these names. I'm like, cool. I don't remember half of them. He was, like Liev Schreiber. He's like the actor. He's like the actor Liev Schreiber. But anyways, there's a whole list of them. But I have to email him to get the whole list of celebrities there.
Is that your go-to moment though? I mean, in the music business, has that been one of your highlights?
That's been one of the high. As far as like names that you would recognize. I also played with Leslie Gore for quite a bit. Now I did go on the road with her. Like, it's my party and I'll cry if I want to.
Okay.
And You Don't Own Me and all those. And that was great because my family, my mom, my aunts, they know Leslie Gore. I remember my mom playing Leslie Gore in like a talent show, that was great. And like they all came up and saw us when we were in Cleveland. We'd do all these, like, we'd fly to Seattle and do a weekend, just come back, and all this stuff. And
kind of one of those careers, yeah.
And
one-offs.
Yeah. And then I got asked to do this cruise ship gig. It was a Malt Shop Memories cruise, and it was all like early '60s pop, all those stars. And they were hiring house bands, for each of the stars. And I got assigned to 4 bands. I got assigned to Leslie Gore, Lou Christie, the Platters, and the Drifters.
Ooh.
But I didn't end up doing the Drifters, so I had to do Lou Christie, Leslie Gore, and the Platters. Leslie, now I had played with, of all of those 3, that was the one I knew because I had been playing with her. So she sees me and she's like, okay, good, someone I know. The rest of the band she doesn't know. And talk about someone who doesn't want to play their hits. Okay, Jimmy doesn't mind playing Margaritaville, but Leslie Gore does not want to sing It's My Party and I'll Cry If I Want to. So we get there. This is the Malt Shop Memories cruise. First song she passes out to the band. And I'm looking. This is on sheet music. Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap.
You're thinking, what?
Now, Leslie Gore smoked for most of her life, and she kind of has a voice like this. And I mean, she sang. I mean, her voice fit it like perfectly, and we did that. And she got chewed out by the people who hired her, and but that was one of my favorite moments. That was one of the most rock and roll moments. Was
really?
Like just on a cruise ship gig, and
you're stuck.
Yeah, and she ends up doing an AC/DC song instead of. So you get all these people who were expecting to hear
doo-wops.
Yeah, and you get AC/DC.
Oh man, that's great. See, I would have really enjoyed that if I was in the crowd. I think. Hey, Chubbies, when was the last time you had somebody take a look at your life insurance? It's something that nobody likes to talk about. But one thing I know about Pudge is he's coming to your funeral. You might as well have him show up with a check and take care of those loved ones. That's the time when they need it the most. He's writing it every day. Come have that conversation with him and get it done. And by the way, if you own a business and you haven't let Pudge quote your commercial insurance, you're making a mistake. Let him check it out. Make sure you got proper coverage for the best value on the market. Gillum Insurance for all your insurance needs. 740-395-0190.
Man, so okay, so full circle, so now you're teaching music in here in town, and what are you doing here? Because I've sent you a couple, and I know that you're teaching guitar, you're teaching lots of things. So tell me what you're doing now.
Yep, I teach private lessons out of my house.
Okay,
guitar and bass, mainly. I just bought a drum set, and I've been practicing drums myself a little bit, but a little bit of drums. And I also teach for the Bart Wiseman Sonic Academy.
Okay.
So they made it a school in his name.
Okay.
And I teach there as well.
How's that going? I mean,
It's going great. I just pretty much show up and teach. But it's going well. We got 8 kids right now.
That's good.
Yeah, and I'm sure it'll grow within time.
Sure.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I do is I teach and then just play gigs. On the weekend. Just
gig around
bars.
With kids,
playing bars.
What band are you playing with now, Jason?
Jordan got me involved with his band in Columbus, Session 5.
Okay.
I'm playing with. I play with Colby Likens occasionally. I play with Morgan Washam. Let's see who else.
Anybody who calls.
Yeah, really. Yeah, anybody who calls. I'm playing tomorrow. I'm playing with Keith McGrath. I just met him. So you just.
It's the music business. You just I mean, and you're a guy. You don't really need much. You just show up. I mean, you've played all these songs 1,000 times.
Well, that's kind of I consider that my day job. My day job is learning songs. So Spotify has made that so much easier. So someone will send me a list of 40 songs for this weekend. I'll make a Spotify list, and then I just listen to that. That's what I listen to.
Make sure there's nothing you can't do.
Well, there's if I need to go through it and figure it out. But I never write anything down. But I make sure I just have my guitar there, and I just okay, and then it's kind of like cramming for an exam. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, for this weekend I got those 40 songs right here.
Yeah, I might lose them on Monday.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then on the way to that's all I listen to. Like on the way to the gig, the day before, and so all those songs are fresh in my head.
Weddings and stuff. If you had a wedding song, you just nothing but that song, to and from, and then the minute that wedding's over, you totally forget it.
Yep.
Never to be played again.
Yep. That's exactly what That's exactly what I was doing today.
Is that the plan from here on out? I mean, is that what you're planning on doing?
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, you're cool with. I mean, that's the gig.
That's the gig is performing and teaching. I'm lucky. I don't have rent to worry about right now. I'm living in my grandpa's old house.
Yeah.
Here in Jackson. So. And that's why I'm also back in Jackson. So, I basically moved away from Jackson in 96 and moved back in 2020.
Yeah.
So there was a couple times I was here for a little bit in between, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Huh, that's crazy, man.
That's cool, man. Are you glad to be back? Yeah. Do you like it?
I love it. I love it's funny, like, to be completely honest, like 10 years ago I wouldn't have I probably wouldn't have wanted to live back in Jackson. Yeah. But now that I'm here and just with all the circumstances of the last 3 years and all of that, I'm so happy here. This is exactly where I need to be.
Chubby's, hey, we all know this guy. All the folks over at AP Prep, we cannot thank you enough. Look those guys up at apprep.info. We get asked all the time, hey, what happens? How do you get over there? Hey, that's how you do it. You get on apprep.info, you look them up, you set a time for your kid's assessment. They schedule a time, you bring your kid over there, boom, it's done. They get you right in the schedule. And hey, for all you adults, you just show up on Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday night at 5:30, and they got their boxing classes. It's $10, or you can join by the month. So look them up at apprep.info.
I got, family. I have, basically the house that I, spent a lot of time in as a kid. Like my grandpa had the basement with the pool table and the ping pong table. And my grandpa was really my best friend as a kid, as a little kid. And I just always go over there. And so it just feels really special to have that house now.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. So tell me about, you just got back from where? Because we had to move the show because you were going to be hiking somewhere.
Yeah. Well, that trip was down. That was we were going to Damascus, Virginia, for a thing called Trail Days, which is like, imagine the Apple Festival, but for hiking. It's just like this little small town in Virginia. And if you start the Appalachian Trail when you're supposed to start it, to do the whole thing, you have to start in March. So if you're on pace, you would be in Damascus, Virginia at this point. So they have a big festival, and even alumni show up. It's not just current hikers, so they have this big parade, class of 2017, class of 2018, the people that did the AT.
Oh, okay.
So I was just going down there with my girlfriend. She does her research on what it's called trail angels. So it's like basically people that make it possible for you to walk that far, we'll pick you up at the trailhead. We'll take you, most of them you can stay at their house, if not for free, for like $5.
Yeah.
And then, we'll take you to get you got to get a shower. You got to do laundry.
Yeah.
You're a stinky mess, and
Have you done the trail?
I haven't done the AT, but my girlfriend and I in March did 182 miles on the Arizona Trail.
Okay.
But I'm glad we did it in March. In Arizona, it's like 99, 100 degrees out there right now.
Yeah.
But
182 miles. How long did that take you?
That took us 5 weeks.
5 weeks, 182 miles in Arizona. How many miles a day?
We were doing 10 miles a day, but we ended up taking what they call 0 days. We took more 0 days. So there's these little trail towns, and the Arizona Trail did a great job of getting the communities on board first. Meaning like, okay, your town is on the trail, so you're going to have hikers coming through, and shoot, what was I talking about?
A 0 day.
Yeah. Yeah, you take a 0 day.
Yeah, 0 day. Yeah, 0. Thank you. And so what turned into what was supposed to be 1 0 day would sometimes become 3 0 days.
Sure. Just because of the heat, or just because you like the town?
Just because, let's just stay here and rest. Let's just, I don't know.
Regroup.
Let's get a nice meal. Okay, yeah. Instead of just, one shower, one nice meal and continue on, we got a little lazy. Just let's stay here a couple days and then go on.
Yeah, I mean, you're not trying to set any land speed records.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do you have it? Are you going to try to do the Appalachian Trail?
I don't know. I probably won't ever have that much time.
How long is the whole thing?
2,100 miles.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Tommy Bragg's
How long does it take?
It takes about 6 months. But the very, very few people actually finish it.
Really?
So they'll do,
different sections. Or
sure.
something.
Yeah.
Okay.
But here's the thing, and I talked about this a lot with my girlfriend because she does her research on this. It's a special thing. Who has the time, the money, and the want to do it? You know what I mean? So if it's going to take 6 months
off work.
Yeah. Not many people can do that. And it's it's a lot of retirees. The ones that they're either retirees or like 20, the ones who are just like, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Yeah.
You'll see a lot of 40-year-old father of fours.
Right. Exactly.
I've been watching these YouTube documentaries. There's a lot of people killed.
On the AT?
Yeah. Like there's murderers out there.
Oh, jeez.
Like there was a guy that was a serial killer that was like basically stalking these trail hikers. Yeah.
Bikers.
No, hikers. Yeah. And like they would hike for you this guy would hike with you for a little while. And then he would get to know you. And then like there's certain spots that you have to like hike up to and then hike back through, I think. I don't know what those would be, like maybe points or something. Like he would figure out if you were going up to see this point and then you might have to come back. Well, then he would like ambush you whenever you'd come back. So like it would be like a split off the trail, and like let's just call it Grouse Rock or something.
Yeah.
And you'd go up and see it, and he would know like it might be like a mile, and he'd be like, oh no, I'm just going to go on up ahead. And what had happened is whenever they'd come off, he would have them ambushed and take them and kill them and then bury them or whatever he was doing. There was like 13 people he did that with on the Appalachian Trail. They thought that he had went through a whole killing spree across, the United States. Because you figure, out there in the dark like that, whenever you did the Arizona Trail, were you throwing up tents?
Oh yeah, it was just tent and backpacking meals. And
see snakes? No,
we were there before the snakes came out, so we were told. You'll see the lizards, these little green lizards, and then 2 weeks after the lizards come the rattlesnakes. And so while we were there, we just started seeing the lizards. And then we joined the Arizona Trail Facebook group because they put like, hey, watch out for this spot. I saw this. You can stay updated. And then after we got back, we started seeing rattlesnake pictures. Everyone was posting rattlesnake pictures.
Of where you were.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. How close are you to other hikers when you're on one of these trails?
You'll pass them.
Yeah, you can pass them. You get bubbles. So, like for example, this one town, Kearney. So these things wouldn't be possible without these trail towns because you got to resupply. And what was your question again? Like,
are there other people? Like, do you find that you're hiking with a cluster of people, or do you just kind of keep to the two of you? Or
it's just for the most part, it's the two of us. But like a storm was coming, and so. Everybody waited out the storm in Kearney, and then now there's a bubble. There's like about 40 hikers
leaving together.
Who were making a bubble. Now, when I was down in Trail Days, we were thinking about that too because there was, I don't know how many. I'm going to say 400. 400, people are hiking the trail who are all in the same spot. And then on Monday, they're all heading north.
Yeah.
They're all,
Right.
Yeah.
And like, I imagine like you're not really there to be hiking with, 400 or 500 people.
Well, and they'll have like set up cabins on the trail. Like they might not be cabins.
They're actually called lean-tos. Shelters.
Shelters. And like, so you don't want 400 people to hit the shelter.
Yeah.
At the same time.
The AT is getting quite crowded. So like I like hiking and I like doing some distance, but the AT has gotten really popular, and I don't know. I don't like having to worry about not having a spot. You know what I mean? Like when it's so crowded, because that's kind of the things you're escaping is just like I'm more about I just want to get to a beautiful spot. I got all kinds. When I was out in New York, my last year there, I had gigs Thursday through Sunday. And then Sunday night, I would just drive up to the Catskills or the Adirondacks. And then I would stay up there until Wednesday night. And then I did that, that was my groove. And there's just so many beautiful spots. And I wouldn't do any long trails. Actually, it wasn't until I just met, my girlfriend that I did that many miles. What I like to do is like what I call lollipops. So there's some top of a mountain you want to get to.
Yeah.
And then so you go to the base of the mountain and you set up base camp. And then the next day, you climb that mountain and come back to base camp. Day 3, you climb another mountain back to base camp, and then day 4, hike out. Yeah. But you got to hike in with all that stuff to get to base camp.
Yeah.
But this was the first time I had ever had to carry 6 or 7 days worth of supplies and then resupply. And then keep going, and then resupply.
Yeah,
keep going.
That would be tough.
Yeah,
that'd be tough. I know. Whenever I do the horse stuff, man. I mean, you basically. I mean, whenever you get low on gear, that's a tough spot to be in. I mean, I don't have to tear everything down. I can just unhook my trailer, leave my horse in the stall, and go get it. But to have to pack, your tents and everything through stores and then load back, that just seems like a lot. Chad's thinking, I am not a hiker. No. Chad said before, he said, I'm not the guy that wants to wake up in the morning and go for a hike.
Yeah, I'm just not in my DNA.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing a biking trip.
I'd be a good base camp guy. Just not.
You stay here, Chad.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna watch out
Make
for the
dinner
stuff here. Yeah. I'll take care of the cooking here.
Yeah, and everybody's got their own thing on what they like to do. As far as how they like to do it. The older I get, I'm becoming less and less of a primitive guy. Mm-hmm. I'm more of a 5-star guy.
Well, there's a comedian that was like, why would I work my butt off all year just to pretend like I'm homeless? Yeah. It makes sense, but I like doing it.
Yeah.
I've been looking at going on a hunt, and I've been sometime in the next few years, I'm hoping to get out west and go on like an elk or bear hunt or something. And it's like, man, how primitive you want to be,
right?
And I mean, I'm kind of a country bumpkin, I mean, I can hang.
You could do it,
but it's like, do I want to?
How many days?
Yeah, how many days? If I want, I mean, I wear contacts.
Yeah,
I mean, it's that's like funny. If I'm wanting to go out there and not wear sunglasses and wear my glass, I don't know. It's like,
I need a flush toilet. A shower.
Yeah.
Flush toilets are overrated.
Yeah. Honestly, if there's one thing that I could do away with, it is a flush toilet.
Really? You wouldn't care?
Yeah.
Well, I worked in the mines.
Once you squat, you'll never go back. I'm telling you.
Okay.
If you have plenty of what do they call it? Forage, I guess.
Yeah, foliage.
Foliage, yeah. You don't need any.
Well, like if I could cheat maybe a roll of toilet paper or two.
I take it.
Yeah.
Do you drink the water?
Oh, gosh. Okay, so this was the big point of contention for the Arizona Trail. There's not much water out there.
Yeah.
Now, the first week we got out there, the west and got so much rain that the first week of hiking was just streams everywhere. I was like, I had nothing to worry about. Yeah. Once we got past that like first 100 miles, then the water dries up. And I'm like, so your water sources then get really weird. There's no more streams. They're not natural water sources. So there's a lot of cattle farms. Matter of fact, they had when they built the.
Then I ain't drinking no water.
Oh, I know. When they built the trail, they had to have have an agreement between the ranchers. You know, that can we build our trail through your ranch? So you're always going through cattle gates. There
like the ones on the ground.
Well, yes, and sometimes they would even have, it would be a bridge. Yeah. It would be like a bridge, but it would also be actual.
I'm talking about the ones that like over creeks,
like on Yellowstone. Yes,
yeah.
They had those. But yeah, we drank from some questionable water sources. Now we always filtered it. Sometimes it'd be a tank. It would be like an actual big tank, you know, and we just have to, you know, they have this thing there that has like a Nalgene bottle on a pole, and you dip some out.
Yeah.
Then you always, no matter where we got it from, we filtered it. But some of them were actual cow ponds.
How'd you filter it?
We had this, it was called a bee-free filter. They were nice because the kind I had before this trip was the pump kind, so you put it in the source and pump it into your bottle. This was just fill it up, and then the nozzle is the filter.
Yeah, I've seen those.
So you can either pour it straight into your mouth, or you can then just squeeze it and then pour it into your bottles. I tell you, the most difficult part of the trip was I was squeezing that thing so much that my hands started hurting. I was like, I couldn't play right now if I needed to, because I was squeezing that thing so much.
You know, I tell you, the Hammertown water source, you know, we're all three Jackson guys. Uh-huh. The engineering behind that is phenomenal.
Oh, my.
There is, you were talking about the water. Think about this. There is nothing above Hammertown. Nothing flows into Hammertown other than natural runoff. Uh-huh. There's nothing all the way around. It's
not fed by anything.
Other than natural runoff water, and there's no farms, there's nothing over there where people could be spraying.
Nope.
There's no animals. They've got all that, under control right there.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have just a small fraction of that, but I mean, as far as clean drinking water,
oh yeah,
I don't know that it could get any cleaner. Hey guys, huge thanks out there to everybody down at Geiger Brothers Construction. Those guys as a whole unit have just been wonderful for the Chubbies. We appreciate each and every one of you hardworking people out there that listens to us. And thank you, Geiger Brothers Construction, for all your project needs. Give those guys a call, 740-286-0800. Water, I've really taken a deep dive into water. Yeah. I don't know why.
It's the one thing we can't.
Did you start listening to the Chris Long Greenlight podcast? He's a former NFL player, Howie Long's son, and has a charity where he goes around. He gets a bunch of dudes to climb, I forget what mountain it is, for money to put in water wells in countries that don't have clean water.
Shit, I'd say we have them here.
Yeah, well they'll go in and make clean drinking water.
Yeah.
It's a great charity, man.
That has to be a huge issue. Has to be.
Oh, it is, man.
I mean, because there's just so much population now that the water system has to be tainted. Mm-hmm. Has to be.
Well, there's just not enough, man. And they're drinking dirty water or no water at all.
Man. Oh man, I even see like out in the country how a lot of these leach beds and septic tanks are ran, and it's like, no way am I ever out there in the middle of the woods and just going to reach down and get me a. You don't.
The guy's like, hey man, the garden's doing great this year.
Yeah. You know why? It's because it's right below your leach bed.
Yeah. Garden is really thriving this year, man.
Yeah. You've been shitting a lot. Yeah. It's right below. It's right below that leach.
Yeah.
Hope we got anything else, bud?
Oh, I don't know. Wherever you
got anything else for him, Chad?
No, I mean, just other than a commitment for him to come back sometime.
Yeah, you going to come back and talk to us again?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah,
all right. Cool. So we got anything else to talk to him about?
No, I think we're good, man. Hey, like and subscribe this thing. We've seen a nice uptick in subscribers. Yep. Let's keep that going. That's a good trend.
Yeah, so. I like that. We're trying to get to 1,000.
Yeah, got to get it.
Yeah, we'd like to get to 1,000. Yeah. So, hey, like and subscribe. You know the drill, guys. You know the drill. So, look Hogue up. Where can they find you for lessons?
Oh,
Facebook?
Yeah, on Facebook. My name's Jason Hogue, Hogue. I don't know if I should give my phone number out on the
I would
podcast.
not. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm on Facebook. Look me up on Facebook. My picture on Facebook is a drawn picture of me. It's like it's a cartoonish looking picture. But yeah, the Hook. If you're interested in lessons, guitar or bass, or even beginning piano or beginning drums,
probably have to follow you first because a lot of those will go to your spam.
Okay.
Yeah, if they're not friends with you and they send you a message, you won't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll go to your spam Facebook message.
Okay.
Did you know that?
Yeah. So friend me.
This guy.
Friend me.
Yeah.
And look him up. Hey, he's great. I will vouch for him. I've sent you a couple. Mm-hmm. Did you end up doing anything with him? I know. Heck, Bo Bowman's taking lessons from you, and Bo Bowman's a guitar god.
That tells you something there, man.
Bo Bowman's a freak.
Yeah,
he is a guitar god.
He sat in here that night playing that classical.
He could do anything.
Guitar, and it was like wow. And then,
yeah,
I mean that's a pretty prized student there, Jason.
Yeah.
Well, I love teaching. I really do. I mean, obviously it's in my blood. You know, like
your dad was a music teacher, wasn't he?
My dad was a music teacher.
I didn't take music in high school, but I thought he was. What did he teach?
He taught band. He was a band director.
He was a band director. Yeah. Okay. Even whenever we were in school?
Yeah. He was the band director at Vinton County.
Yeah. Oh, he wasn't at Jackson.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, all right. I thought he was at Jackson for some reason.
He was.
He was for a little bit in the 80s.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I didn't know what the deal was. I wasn't a band guy. I didn't do any music in high school. Did you? Was you in all that stuff, wasn't you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, kind of. I'll say this though, that just as far as teaching, most people think that there's two ways to play music, which is you can read it or you're born with a natural ear, right? And basically the way I teach is I can make you completely understand music without reading it. You don't need to read music to understand music theory, and so there's you can read it, you can have a natural talent for, or you can understand it, and that's what I teach is the understanding. So there's no reading of music, but but if you want to understand, basic, I call it usable music theory. 90% of the music theory that you're going to learn in college will not help you on stage. It's you're learning a specific thing. You're learning like the first year is like Bach chorale writing. I've never played a Bach chorale on stage. Like the skills, but there's very usable theory. And it's not that hard. And honestly,
it's all letters and numbers.
My students, I got little ones.
Yeah.
They got it. What key?
Yeah. Yeah. I can't read lick music.
Yeah. You don't need to. And that's the misconception that I really want to do away with is, I have to be able to read music to understand theory. And no, not at all.
No, the Nashville number system kind of taught me a lot of and I don't want to say music theory because that's not what I mean, but it taught me a lot of you're always within 4 or 5, I guess, and it's all letters and numbers. And that was about as deep as I got into it, and it treated me well, for what I learned, but that's as deep as I got into it. I mean, you don't have to get that deep in order to be able to do anything, do you?
No.
I mean, basically the first chapter, if you can get that first chapter down, you can go play. But you basically, I mean, if you want to go play, But it seems like there's a lot of playing going on though right now. Seems like music's.
I love it that there's a great interest in younger kids and stuff like that coming. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
The Bart Wiseman Academy thing. That's really
I hope
cool,
that keeps going for Bart.
Yeah.
I want to normalize being a musician down here. So like in New York, everyone, it's like I get it. Like when I would get hired by a band, they would have, guitar, first call, second call, third call, fourth call, 30th call, bass, first call, second call, third call, 150th call, and for some bands I was first call and some I was lower down the list. But I want to normalize that and, down here because the mindset I've noticed is you're in a band, like we have a band and, that the conversation I've had to have way too many times in my life is guys, I'm seeing other bands.
Yeah.
But just normalize, being a musician. And I really do think, that's kind of what kind of gives me a sense of purpose right now as I'm trying to, get the younger generation on board with this. And if you get it to them while they're that age, they don't think it's, but once they get an adult, I'm not going to learn that. I can't learn that stuff.
There needs to be a bunch of guys that are into creating their own music. Mm-hmm. if that was one thing I did wrong is I played other people's stuff too long, and I didn't do anything of my own. You know, I should have done my own stuff. Now, I'm not saying all my own stuff. I mean, you're always going to have to play the Margaritavilles, you know, if you're playing those type of venues. But you also, while you have that audience, you need to hook them with at least a song or two of yours, you know. And I think that if I was doing it again, I would have probably done 40 my own stuff, 60%, you know, good banging covers to create the vibe, and then I would have done 40% of my own, you know, originals, and that way I could have been my own guy, you know, at least until I had my whole album of stuff I could go promote. But I mean, you know, if I was going to start, I probably wouldn't have started until I had at least that. You know, because hell, you know, country's country. I mean, you know, if you're going to play country, just write some country songs. It's pretty easy. So, well, hey, look him up, Jason Hogue on Facebook. He's got the upright guitar thing, the upright bass. Is that what it is on the thing? So look him up, get your lesson with him, and hey, like and subscribe to YouTube. Follow us on Spotify. Anything else, bub?
No, we got it.
We got it. All right. Hey, see you, Chubbies.
Chubby Guys Podcast.